Yeah.
Hey yo, man, it's your time. And fuck poverty. Get this money, man. What the fuck you gotta do, you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you're mad at me just by how your face.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Philip and Leroy Judgemental podcast. I'm Leroy. No Philip this week, so I'm doing it on a solo tip. Well, I'm going to start off this week by reading this article. New York Senator Samara G. Bronk wants sex ed for kindergartners. Let me read you this article. Senator Samara G. Bronk proposal would legally link New York schools to the recommendations of the Sexual Information and Educational Council of the United States. Under the group current standards, public and charter schools would have to teach 5-year-olds about gender identity and instruct 8-year-olds on hormone blockers to prevent puberty and transgender identifying preteens. Kids as young as 11 would get lectures on vaginal, oral, and anal sex, study, queer, two-spirit, asexual, pansexual, and other gender identities, and receive explicit instructions on the use of external and internal condoms, dental dams, and other contraceptives. Well, I'm not going to read it all. I just wanted to read that part. I had a real problem with this, and it kind of bothered me when I read the article last week. For what reason is it that you want to sexualize these kids at a young age? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And what the hell do 11-year-olds need to know about a damn dental dam or other how to use a condom? My best memories was being a kid, having fun, being outside, riding my bike, playing sports all day long. I eventually learned about all this stuff as I grew up, but I didn't need to know it back then. So it kind of bothered me this week, last week, reading this article. And here's a question for y'all out there. What's a damn two-spirit? I don't know what a two-spirit is, and no, I'm not going to search it on Google. I don't really want to know like that, but I want to know, but I don't really want to know like that to be searching two-spirit, because I don't know what the hell is going to pop up if I do that. So, it kind of bothered me, so I just wanted to kind of get that off my chest. I don't understand, like, what's the end game of teaching these little kids sex? You sexualizing these kids at a young age. 5-year-old gender identity and 8-year-olds about hormone blockers. Why would an 8-year-old need to know about hormone blockers? Eventually, you'll get it. And as I'm saying this, I'm not commenting because they're teaching the kids about the LGBT. Oh, I don't know what it's called, but it's not about that. It's just about teaching them about sex, period. They don't need to know anything about it. If it was just about heterosexual activities, I would still have the same concerns. So it kind of bothered me this week. So let me get to another article. We're speaking on school. Teacher's aide Deidre Llewellyn sentenced to 14 years in prison after being accused of having sex with a student. Here's the article.
It's so bad.
More than a year later,
It hurts me.
a grandmother weeps at the memory. An educator guilty of having a sexual relationship with her teenage grandson. He was a student with a learning disability at Worthing High School. Deidre Llewellyn was a teacher's aide and also became a family friend through church.
I trusted her.
And her grandson was only 16 when the sexual encounters started.
He was telling her his dad has died, his papa died, his mama wasn't in his life. She used that to benefit her, as I thought she was helping him.
What Llewellyn did instead?
And she molested him over and over.
Llewellyn admitted to having sex with the teen multiple times, some sexual encounters on the school campus.
She would have my mom drop him off at school early in the morning, saying that he's coming to help her out When she would go take him to the closet, he went through a lot.
But a grandmother's instinct told her something was wrong. When she checked her grandson's phone that day back in 2019, she found messages from Llewellyn that still haunt her and disgust her to this day.
Over 600 text messages, over 200 calls that you were doing.
He was hurt. He was real hurt because he trusted her. He don't trust no one now.
Today, his family tells me he still struggles, healing from a trauma they never expected.
She took advantage of my nephew. Like, if you can't believe you're a teacher and someone that goes to church with you, who can you trust?
Tidria Llewellyn has been sentenced to 14 years in prison.
The 14 years is not enough for what he has to deal with for the rest of his life.
I'm Svania Coley, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Okay, now, Miss Llewellyn actually looks like Llewellyn. She's real old and big. And here's something. The kid also has mental problems. He has a learning disability and in a special education program. So the family's trying to say that, she took advantage of him because he has disability. But here's something more from the article. The student told officers they had sex 4 times at different locations, including at the boys' home, Llewellyn's home, in the parking lot of the high school, and in the storage unit. The boy also told HISD police that Llewellyn was told him, "You don't have to be gay." So the kid was gay. This is in Houston, Texas, too, by the way. I don't think I mentioned it. It's in Houston, Texas. So the question I want to ask, is the kid really gay? he mounted on Miss Llewellyn 4 times and even fucked her in the storage unit. So I hate to laugh, I'm sorry, because it's wrong. And she should be punished what she did. She got 14 years in jail. But is the kid really gay if he having sex with her 4 times and in the storage unit? She tried to I'm sorry, y'all. She tried to suck and fuck the gay out. She tried to suck the fuck the gay out of him, and I guess it worked because the way they found out is the mom told he didn't say anything. So I mean, is the kid really gay? Because if he was gay, he would have just told his mom what the teacher aide was doing? Shit, these kids in school, boy, you got to worry about your grades and you got to worry about the teachers trying to sleep with your kids. Well, we still in school. We gonna go to Arkansas, Little Rock, where they bang at, and now the kids are picking up shit out of the toilet with their bare hands. So Arkansas teacher was accused of forcing a child to touch his feces with his bare hands. Here's the article.
Disturbing news this evening that's left a community upset. A Pulaski County Special School District mom claims her son was forced to dig into a dirty toilet by his teacher. TH11's Jay Jackson sat down with the child's family for more details in tonight's top story.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Soldier. That's why I want to be a soldier.
I know when he's not lying.
Ashley Murray couldn't believe what her son said his teacher made him do in class last Friday.
She made me get my boo-boo out with my bare hands in the toilet. And I'm like, are you serious?
Murray alleges that her son's kindergarten teacher at Crystal Hill Elementary School wanted to teach him a lesson about clogging the classroom toilet.
I come from a line of teachers. I've taught school in the private sector. That is not what we're taught. You would never, ever, you wouldn't even have to second guess yourself.
The Pulaski County Special School District released a statement Wednesday afternoon saying they're actively investigating these alleged actions. The teacher in question is on administrative leave. After talking to the principal, Murray says the teacher gave her a call.
And said, I don't have an explanation on what happened. I just know that I'm deeply sorry for what happened.
And now they're seeking legal action on the incident.
She needs to be terminated. I feel like she does not need to teach in any school district. She does not need to be around any kids. Her license needs to be taken.
I think that they felt like if she said she was sorry, that would make things go away.
And for Murray's son, she's hoping this doesn't affect his want to keep learning in school.
The teacher been mean to me.
Now the teacher in question deactivated her Facebook page and her Instagram account is private, so we couldn't get a response. Reporting in North Little Rock, Jade Jackson, THV 11 News.
Jade, thank you. And she mentioned that statement from Superintendent Dr. Charles McNulty. It was lengthy and it came out late this afternoon. It avoided specifics, but did address the different sensitivities involved. You can find a link to that full statement on THV 11.
Well, I'm on the teacher side in all this because, okay, the kid did stuff the toilet. So, I mean, he can learn about plumbing. He got a trade of plumbing. Well, you don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to college if you learn anything about plumbing. What teacher in a right mind will make a young man pick up shit out of the toilet seat? I guarantee you the teacher is white. This is a black kid, by the way, black young man. And I guarantee you the teacher is white and she made him do that. I don't understand where in the world that you will have a kid pick up toilet shit out of the toilet. And schools have janitors, so if the toilet was clogged up, then why don't she just didn't get the janitor to unclog it? I don't understand it. So the next one, we're going to Plano, Texas, where a young man was spent the night over his teammate's house, and they forced him to drink piss. Here's the article.
Tonight, Plano school officials and police are actively investigating really disturbing allegations of bullying at a middle school. The child's mother believes her 13-year-old son was targeted. Here's our Nicole Nielsen.
This has got to stop, and this is going to end with him.
Today, Summer Smith, the mother of 13-year-old Samarion Humphrey, is speaking out after claiming her son has been the target of physical and mental abuse by his classmates at Plano ISD's Haggard Middle School.
This is not a prank. This is beyond bullying. You are evil.
She said she tried to inform the school and district, but when no actions were taken, she took her own.
No.
Posting this now viral video to her Facebook accusing her son's classmates of forcing Humphrey to drink urine. It happened at a sleepover last month she says was orchestrated by the kids to bully him.
Where it was premeditated and it was obvious that Samarion was only invited for their pure entertainment.
Wow. But she says the problem started before the sleepover, saying Humphrey has been harassed and degraded for nearly a year with no help from staff.
Samarion actually made complaints to his coaches and was told boys will be boys.
The Plano Police Department is conducting an investigation. Plano ISD released a statement in part stating our district does not tolerate or condone bullying or harassing behavior and is taking prompt and remedial action to address the concern.
No justice, no peace!
Today, protests broke out in front of the school with parents and students fighting for change. Something that Smith says they won't stop fighting for.
This is going to change, and I mean that.
In Plano, Nicole Nielsen, CBS 11 News.
Nicole, thank you. And an online petition calling for change within the district was started on Tuesday. It now has more than 50,000 signatures.
Okay, I'm on the fence about this one. First of all, in that press conference that the mom had, there wasn't a man in sight. It was 3 men, a bunch of women. One of the men, I'm assuming, would be the kid's grandfather. He was an older man. So, number one, he's 13 years old and he was a big kid. So when he said coaches, I'm assuming he's on a football team. So I'm a little iffy on this report because, number one, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So why in the hell is that kid spending the night over somebody's house? You don't know what they doing over their house, and they don't know what you bringing into their house. So why in the world would you allow kids to sleep over? I don't get it. And number two, the mom said that the kid has been harassed for a year, and she complained about it. So why in the hell would you allow him to spend the night over kids' houses? Are you taking them to you sending them over to his abusers? So why would you do that? That doesn't really make any sense to me. I'm a little iffy on this. I don't know if it's like a money grab, or I'm pretty sure they're going to sue somebody. I don't know if it's a money grab or not, but it doesn't make sense to me. Like, we are in a pandemic, so. She also says that he was shot as the drinking piss thing. The kids actually shot him with a BB gun also, and called him racial slurs and hit him while he was asleep. So the kid already been talking about he was harassed, and you complained about it, but yet you allow him to go over these people's houses. I don't buy that. And I'm looking at you like, well, what was you thinking about if you allowed him to allow him to go over there? And he's a big kid. And why in the world you just didn't try to fight these guys? It doesn't really make sense to me, and I don't know. I don't know what to call it. So I gave what, 4 different reports of things that happened in the school. Jay, my cousin Jay, he works in a teaching field. So when he hears this, I want him to make a rebuttal during Texas. Send me a text, and I'll read it next time we do another news article. The next report, New Orleans. A young man, Joseph Vendel, was found dead inside his car after he tried to sell his dirt bike off of Facebook Marketplace. Here's the article.
Look, it's a $2,800 dirt bike. It's not anything that anybody should be shot over.
A 29-year-old New Orleans man was shot and killed yesterday while trying to sell his dirt bike over Facebook Marketplace. Joseph Vindel's family and friends are grieving, and they're angry after learning this morning he was killed by someone in Harvey who claimed he wanted to purchase his dirt bike.
Well, this morning, Vindel's body was found in New Orleans, still inside of his car. Our reporter Erica Ferrando joining us live now in the Garden District with the latest on this investigation. Tragic situation for Mr. Vindel's family.
Well, police found Joseph Vindel's body inside his car here along Coliseum Street around 5 o'clock this morning. And I spoke with his father this afternoon. He said he was loved by everyone and did not deserve this. Joseph Vindel was known for his outgoing personality and great sense of humor. The 29-year-old recently earned his real estate license and was excited about his new career as a realtor. But the New Orleans man's life was cut short. According to the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, Vindel was shot and killed Sunday by 20-year-old Jalen Harvey. Vindel had this dirt bike for sale through Facebook Marketplace for about $2,800. According to Sheriff Joe Lapinto, Vindel left New Orleans around 10 a.m. Sunday to sell the bike in Harvey.
Mr. Vindel never returned from that transaction.
Unable to reach him, Vindel's family contacted police. JPSO detectives found messages between Vindel and Harvey for the bike sale. Those messages led them to an apartment complex on Manhattan Boulevard in Harvey.
Our deputies went to that location and were able to find the dirt bike in one of the patios of one of those apartment complexes. At that point in time, they made contact with Mr. Jalen Harvey.
Harvey was arrested Monday morning for Vindel's murder. He admitted to shooting Vindel multiple times in his car in Harvey and then driving the vehicle to Coliseum Street in New Orleans, where he abandoned Vindel's vehicle with his body inside. He drove the dirt bike back to the West Bank. Detectives are still trying to figure out why Vindel was shot.
That's something that our investigators are going to have to look into.
When conducting online sales, Sheriff Lapinto suggests meeting at well-populated locations during daylight.
You're safer at a grocery store parking lot.
Vindel's father told me he just had dinner with his son Saturday night. He said he was so excited about his new career, and he did ask me to share this message with other parents. He said, hug your children and call them as much as you can. In New Orleans, Erica Ferrando, Eyewitness News.
Okay, Erica, every parent's nightmare. Thank you. Facebook has posted tips for meeting someone on Facebook Marketplace in person. They suggest meeting someone in a public, well-lit area or police station. Let others know where you're headed. Some marketplace items are eligible for shipping, which is an option for you. You can also use a pickup or drop-off service. Don't share personal information like your home address with someone. Also, consider taking another person with you.
Harvey is 8 miles away from New Orleans. To me, that's a little bit too far for me. You buying something from me, You going to come meet me somewhere. I'm not going to you. I'm not going to make it easier for you. You're going to have to come to me if you want to buy something. Why would I drive eight miles away? I hope I said miles, not hours. Harvey is 8 miles away from Louisiana. So, yeah, you made it too convenient for the guy. Not to say, you deserve what happened, but me and Philip had talked about this via text, and he sent me some rules to when you buying stuff off of Facebook. I want to read them, but I didn't ask him for permission. So next time we get on, I'll ask him, and he can tell us his his rules for buying things off of Facebook. I really don't have much to say with this article, but the tips that Facebook made are pretty much right on the money. Number one, meet in public, well-lit area, or at a police station. You also can ship on Facebook Marketplace. There's pickup and drop-off sites. Don't share personal info, and consider going with someone. Those are good rules to follow. But those aren't Philip rules, so you have to hear that you have to hear that the next time he get on. Okay, we're going to go to New York with Tiara Williams, a construction worker who had to cut off all her hair just so she can keep the men from stop sexually harassing her. Here's the report.
As our skyline continues to grow and change in the tri-state area, more and more women are helping to make it happen. Tonight, a strong message from a group of those female construction workers. Sexual harassment on the job will not be tolerated. Some on your side first brought problems in the industry to light more than 3 years ago. Tonight, investigative reporter Dan Kraup with an important update.
When Tiara Williams first started out in construction, it wasn't a passion of hers. It was a way to make money.
I just needed a job at the time, and I just really wanted to feed my son, but I fell in love with how the building went up.
But as the building grew, so did her love for the job. She knew it wasn't going to be easy, but she had no idea how difficult it would be. Not physically, but emotionally.
I started experiencing a lot of disrespect, sexual harassment, a lot of demeaning things.
7 on Your Side Investigates first spoke with Williams back in 2017 about the sexual harassment she said she experienced from co-workers on the job.
He told me that he was watching me because I was sexy. And then I looked at him, I was like, well, you can't watch me because I'm sexy, because that's a form of harassment. Like, you're stalking me.
She went to extreme measures to make it stop.
No, ma'am, just by watching somebody is not a form of sexual harassment. But let's continue on.
I cut all my hair off to go back into construction because some way, somehow, I felt like I wouldn't be attractive, so they wouldn't bother me.
Nearly
It ain't your hair, my dear.
3 years later, the New York Attorney General reached a settlement with the company, awarding 18 former workers, including Williams, $1.5 million.
Every employee in the state of New York has the right to feel safe and protected in the workplace.
The Attorney General says her investigation revealed a pattern of severe sexual harassment against female employees and retaliation against many of these workers when they complained about the harassment. The state's top attorney calling Williams a hero in social media.
I definitely believe I was treated differently because I was a woman.
A spokesperson for Trade-Off, the company involved in the settlement, sent us a statement saying in part, Miss Williams is a union organizer for that union, and some of the things she's asserting regarding the unfair treatment of workers are just plain wrong. And went on to say, Trade-Off considers any level of harassment to be unacceptable and deeply regrets that their processes for training and oversight failed some of the women who work for them.
I've been followed. I've been humiliated.
Meanwhile, Williams is using her experience to help educate other women in the construction industry.
I have more of a path to pave, and I'm on a mission at this point.
Hey, look, fellas, as you see with Andrew Cuomo, I already mentioned this on one of the podcast episodes, to leave these women on a job alone. You see something you like, don't bother. If you really hard up and want to talk to someone, there's a whole bunch of bars and clubs that you can go and socialize with. You don't need to mess with those women on the job. It works for some, but it surely don't work for others, as we can see with Andrew Cuomo. Now, just because somebody stare at you is not a form of sexual harassment. And cutting off your hair. First of all, you on a construction site. You have a hard hat on, so they're not looking at your hair. They looking at other parts. So what does your hair have to do with it? So the next one, we gonna go to here on the Philip and Leroy Judgmental podcast. We love the street entrepreneurs, and we gonna go to our lady who should be on the Street Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame, LaDonna Wiggins, accused of buying homes, Land Rover, and Chanel items, and an alleged $3.7 million PPP scam. Houston, Texas. Here's the report.
Eric, yeah, LaDonna Wiggins, we have yet to hear from her. This business here behind me off Pierce and Baldwin is apparently that of hers. They have since turned off the lights when they saw our cameras. But we're also waiting to hear from her lawyer who's in New York. Still nothing from either of them. Again, what those court documents allege are pretty jaw-dropping. Hi, looking for LaDonna Wiggins? My name's Myra with ABC 13.
Tuesday afternoon, we went to a home in Cyprus that court documents state 37-year-old LaDonna Wiggins purchased using money she received from the CARES Act. The document says Wiggins received about $3.7 million after submitting 2 PPP loan applications for businesses known as Wiggins and Grams Enterprises, LLC, and Pink Lady Line. The documents state she used the funds to make lavish personal purchases, this home allegedly being one of them.
Hi, looking for LaDonna Wiggins?
She's not here.
She's not here?
When someone finally came to the door, I asked this woman about the allegations that Wiggins supposedly purchased 2 homes using federal funds meant for business use.
This house and apparently a house for her mom. Is that you?
No.
You're not her mother?
No.
The court.
Yes, it is. Wiggins is 37 years old, and this woman that answered the door is older than that. So I'm assuming that's Miss Wiggins' mother.
Documents go on to mention just how much money she spent and on what. Here's just a few listed in detail in these court documents. Over $78,000 on a 2020 Land Rover, over $25,000 at Saks Fifth Avenue, over $12,000 at Hermes, over $64,000 at Chanel, and $204,000 for a business in Houston, nearly $700,000 for a home in Cyprus, and over $248,000 for a home in Katy.
Is there a time that she will be coming home?
Actually, she hasn't called me today, so I'm not sure when she's coming back.
And how are you related to her?
That doesn't matter.
We never got a straight answer from the person who opened the door. We did see her moments later get in an SUV and leave. Wiggins has been charged with bank fraud, making a false statement to a bank, and money laundering. She faces up to 30 years in federal prison. Mayra Moreno, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Hey, look, we got to give it up to our street entrepreneurs. She done way too much buying a whole bunch of unnecessary shit. That's why she got in trouble. But we're going to put her in the Hall of Fame because she got it. A nice house, too, by the way. The news report also mentions that she spent $46,000 in Neiman Marcus and $14,000 at Apple. My question is, what the hell is $14,000 in Apple? What was she getting? All Macintoshes and iPhones? I don't know. That sounds kind of strange. Well, all right, everybody. It's time for me to go. You can reach the Judgementals at P&L Judgementals on Facebook and Twitter. Instagram at _Judgementals. And email us at pnljudgementals@gmail.com. Thank you for taking your time out and listen. I'm out.
Hey yo man, it's your time. Man, fuck poverty. Get this money, man. What the fuck you gotta do, you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you're mad at me just by how your face look. You can check the status.